Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Petro here once again. And I had no audio on any of this video. There's the homies Hollis and Brandon and the new guy, McGuire. Add them. They got new channels. Um, and they're all doing caving stuff like I do. But like I said, for some reason, when I uploaded this video, I had no audio on any of it. And it was probably because I was using this type of stand that had a light and a microphone in it. And it messed up. So I'm having to commentate this entire video. And the new guy there, McGuire, he's part of the Nashville Grotto. And I just met him on YouTube. And all the other guys here, Brandon, Justice there, he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he just comes with us. And then Hollis there. And this is Camp's Gulf Cave over by Fall Creek Falls. And what we didn't know is that the cave wasn't that far up the trail. I had already been in this cave once before with Skylar, my son, Sergeant Surge, and we went like 9 miles hiking in this forest, and we couldn't find the cave. And we actually did the exact same thing again. We hiked all the way back to the waterfall. Now, this is about a 3 mile hike back to Hamlock Falls. And it was so humid this day. If you can see, I'm already drenched in sweat. That's all sweat, no rain, just sweat. And we made it all the way back to this waterfall back here, which was muddy. It was beautiful, but the water was all brown and muddy, kind of gross looking. But we made it back here, and we were still like, yeah, the cave has to be around here somewhere. And Hollis went up there, and as you can see, and walked along the waterfall, and he looked on that side to see if there was the cave. Because apparently this cave, Camp's Gulf Cave, is huge. Has a huge cave mouth, has one of the biggest rooms in Tennessee and the United States in there. You need massive light to light it up, but it was not here. We actually walked all this trail way far back here in the woods. The trail actually disappeared on us, and there was no trail no more. And that's when we figured that it was a bust. We were like, maybe we just won't find this cave this time. And this will be my second time trying to find this cave, and we could not find it. So we walked back here about another quarter of a mile, didn't find anything. And we decided to walk along the river here and see if we could find something. And all these stones, it was super hard to walk on. They were all slippery, wet. And right about this time, it started to thunder. And even though we're under the canopy of the forest, it did start raining on us. And it just seems like every time I'm out right now in the summer and it starts to get really hot, all of a sudden a crazy rainstorm happens. And that's what we were doing right here. We're just sitting there waiting for the rain to die down. And it did die down a little bit, which kept everything super humid. So just sitting there, you're sweating. So let alone hiking. So we continued hiking. We put in about 6 miles of hiking, trying to find this cave. There's these weird gelatin fungus growing on these trees here as we were making our hike back. Now, we had already hiked 3 miles back to that waterfall, and now we're hiking all the way back, and we were pretty much defeated, and we were thinking that we were going to walk about 3 miles back to the truck and have to go home, and which would have sucked. to have walked, 6 miles and not even find the cave. So as we're walking back, you can see these trees. We're all on the trail from past storms. Um, all I was thinking is there's ticks everywhere on these, and I really, when I'm walking in the woods and stuff, I hate touching anything because there's always ticks in the summer. Sitting down on anything will give you ticks too. So you always got to watch out when you come home and make sure you don't have any ticks on you. But we kept walking and walking, and then we came up on the sign that said no camping. And it was the only other branch of the trail about half a mile at the beginning. So this is at the beginning of the trail that we realized, hey, there's another trail. And it says no camping. So as we start walking, bam, there it is. And there's the big sign. That sign says you are being recorded because this is a Tennessee State Park and you have to get a permit to enter. So we had the permits and everything. So we knew this was where the cave was. And as we start to get close, man, you could feel the cold. Like right here, the cold coming out of that cave, it was like blowing cold air. And I'm already sweating. Like I'm sweating really bad from the humidity and the 6 mile hike. So as I'm walking down this sink, which is covered in water, it just rained. So everything's super slick and wet. And I'm trying to get down here that I was starting to get really, really cold. Now I did bring a hoodie in my backpack, but I was starting to worry here of how much energy I had left, because now we found the cave, but we'd already hiked 6 miles. So I was probably about 30% energy left. And everybody else was kind of feeling the same. But we were like, man, we made it here. We got to at least push something. And my God, the air coming out of this cave and the beauty of it. Tennessee is one of the most beautiful states in the United States. I don't think people realize how stunning Tennessee is in the winter, in the spring, in the fall, and the summer. You get every season here in Tennessee, and it is spectacular. And we were all super happy because we just found the cave. And Hollis walked over to this other side. And to me, this was like I was in a jungle. The vegetation's grown up so much down here at the bottom of this grotto, which, the ecosystem down here in these grottos is completely different than when you're up top. Because we had to climb down here probably about 50 or 60 feet, maybe more. And there was this other huge cave opening right here. So there was two entrances to this cave, both of them huge, both of them cold air, blowing out extremely, extremely cold air. And we're all sweating, and it felt great in the moment, but, a little bit later, and it's not so great. So we're going to decide now to actually go in the cave. Hollis, of course, doesn't wear a helmet ever. One day, maybe he will wear a helmet. But they were all ready to push. I was kind of hesitant. That's why I'm in the back. Just because if you look down there, that's just straight mud. And that's like 2-3 stories at a slope of mud. And it does get scary when it's so slippery like that to go sliding down a hole. I decided that I was going to kind of take this route up top and not slide down the mud. Hollis was saying that it was super slippery. So I got my helmet on and my light, holding the camera. Normally I have the camera on my helmet, but I was trying something new here. And obviously it didn't work because I had no audio, and that's why you're hearing me talk like this. But if you can see how big this cave is, and they're not too far in there, and they're really small. You can see their lights aren't that small. And climbing on this little ridge here, it doesn't look like it's that slippery, but I'm telling you, it is slippery. Like every step you take, you're sliding. So I was holding on with one hand on the rocks and holding the camera with the other hand and trying not to slide. You'll see me a lot. If I think my feet are going to give, I'll just sit down. And although this cave is the cave you want to like slip and slide in because it's super fun. to slide down these hills. And the hills of mud in this cave, I'd never seen anything like it in my life. I'm talking like hills of mud that were like 3 or 4 stories high, and you had to climb up them. And the mud, at the same time being as slick as it is, it's also sticky. So if you get a lot of the mud on your foot and you're trying to walk uphill in the mud, it actually kind of sticks to the other mud. And we got a little buddy here. Here's a little salamander. I love these guys and seeing them in the cave. Beautiful cave mouth entrance. And now you see I got my hoodie on. As soon as I got in the cave, I was sweating so much and I was wet, I got cold instantly. So thank God I brought a hoodie. You see, these are formations, columns that have been broken off. And now it's really slick. And you see the guys down there. This is on an incline. So you're having to walk, downhill on this incline in this slick mud. And I ended up slipping right here, I think, and just going on my butt. Yeah, there I slipped there, and I'm like, I'll just slide down on my butt and make it fun. So that's what I do. And you see all the moisture coming out of our breath. That's because inside these caves, it's about 100% humidity. So you see your breath coming out as you're breathing, and that's just moisture. As I'm making my way down to the bottom here, slowly. I always take my time. I could go faster and be more dangerous, but I'm not a young guy like these guys here, and so I just take my time. I'm smart enough to take an easy route. It looks like Hollis there's light he was trying to fix. McGuire here was getting ready, and we're taking the route to the right because we're trying to stay close to the wall because the mud is just so insane in this cave. I'd never seen the cave walls all the way up into the ceiling caked with mud. So that means at one point in time, that cave was completely filled with water and just mud, and it's just stayed there over the years. There was a bunch of broken formations all over the place in here too. That crazy rock just hanging over. And Hollis over here, he found a little crawlway, and he's the type of guy that will just crawl in those spaces. Not me though. I don't like those tight crawl spaces. You can see this one right here as I get closer was super, super small, super tight. And Hollis was like, it goes, I want to push it. And he didn't. He wanted to though. But here's one of these huge mountains, these huge mounds of mud. And you can see how big it is compared to the other guys that we're having to walk up. And it's not easy to do. And you see Hollis caving in Jordans. Pretty funny. He always does that. Maybe we'll get him some boots soon. But you can see Brandon, he was kind of hugging close to the right here, and I was too, just so I could have something to grab on the wall. Now, the wall's there to the right. It looks like just a wall of rock, and it is, but it's covered in mud, like thick mud. I'd never seen anything like it in a cave before. And I make it right now to the top of one of the huge mounds, and you can see the cave mouth that way. And it is just, man, this is just insane of how much mud was in this cave. Just mounds and mounds and mounds of mud. And incredible formations. There was a lot of these columns like this that went straight from the bottom all the way to the top. And there was a lot of them that were broken too, I guess, over the years of water coming through and rushing and breaking the columns. Maybe debris or something else breaking the columns. But they were all super cool, and they all kind of glow with the black light. The formations are some of my favorite things in the cave. I love to see the formations and the time that it's taken to slowly make those, and all the different minerals and stuff and different shapes that you see. Just fascinating to me. I find it fascinating. It's a whole nother world down there in the caves. I didn't really know what to expect in this cave. I was just seeing all these broken, those are broken formations, I guess, where it's broken off and they've just been laying on the ground there. And I didn't know how far I actually wanted to go in. I was super tired by now, and my body was, like I said, it was about 30% as I was going into the cave, but I still wanted to see it. And I was super cold. I was, covered in sweat. And being in that cave, the cave was about, 55, 60 degrees. So going from that extreme hot humidity outside into this humid cold spot had me cold. But this was the first huge breakdown that you come to in this cave at Camps Gulf. And that breakdown, like you see how small he looks way up there with his light. And Brandon and Hollis were debating on doing it. And it's not just that crawl to that crack up there. You got to keep going. And Hollis was like, okay, I'm going to go. McGuire was already up. Brandon was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And here's where I was debating if I was going to do it or not. And I decided not to. And I called Hollis back down and I gave him the camera. So now we have Hollis with my GoPro and he is going up the breakdown. Hollis is very agile and doesn't weigh very much, and he can get through these spots pretty good. But you can see the little lights way up there. That's how high and how far he's got to climb up all of this breakdown, all these rocks. Now all the rocks look pretty stable, and they've been sitting in those positions for a long time, but they are covered in mud. So it's not just like crawling on a rock; it's crawling on a rock that is covered in slippery mud. So it's super hard, and you're constantly losing grip, thinking you're gonna fall. And it's and look at that. You see that big hole? You don't want to go sliding. You don't want to slip and go sliding down that hole because there's no telling where that hole actually even goes. So now they're going more, and as they're going up, they realize, holy crap, there's a rope here. And we have to use this rope to continue climbing up this breakdown. Now, they've already made it through the crack, and you can see that McGuire's left his backpack there because it looks pretty tight. And look at that. That looks crazy of him climbing up there. Those rocks do look stable. It doesn't look like anything's moving. And as Hollis goes up there, it looks super fun, and I have to go back to this cave because I have to do this. And as of now, I had already walked back. I'm walking back through the cave, and I'm going to find Justice. Justice had a really bad headache. I think he was dehydrated, and didn't even go in the cave. But look at that, like straight vertical going up, climbing up the muddy, slippery breakdown. It looks fun to me. That looks like a lot of fun. And like I said, I have to get back to this cave now that I know that it's not a 3-mile hike, but it's about a mile hike to the cave, which is very doable because this looks fun as they get over the top of this breakdown, still using that rope. Now, I don't know who puts the ropes in the caves. Most caves will have these ropes already in them. I know the this is a Tennessee State Park cave, so it's probably the park rangers put the ropes in these caves and switch them in and out. I don't really trust those ropes in these caves because no telling how long they've been in there. But when they're there and you got to use them, you got to use them. And obviously, as you see, Hollis here, looks like there's 2 ropes. He's grabbing both of them. Long way down, long way up still, as he's making his way slowly but surely. And it still goes up. Look how much, man, it still goes up way high. I didn't know that as I'm watching this, I'm kind of watching this with y'all because I wasn't there. Hollis took the camera. I told him to go record. So that does look like a ton of fun right there, going up this crazy mountain on the inside of Earth. It's crazy what these caves are. So no telling how long that breakdown's been there either. It looks like there's a little tunnel here on the other side. Pretty fun. Covered in mud. Everything just covered in mud. Now, so when you get to somewhere where there's some water flowing, that's where you're like, okay, now I can kind of clean myself off a little bit. Crazy rock hanging there. Wow, see, now got a little tight. Now this cave, like I said, has some of the biggest rooms in all of Tennessee, all of America, of any cave. and I have to make it there. I think the one was called the Echo Hall, and that's the one. Now this cave's 7 miles long, so there's 7 miles of cave in this cave, and I have to explore this again. I'll probably be doing it here in the next few weeks before the summer's up. So I'll probably get all the guys back again and try to get Ron out there with his son. I'll try to get Sergeant Surge, my son, out there too, because all this climbing and crawling around, this is what we like to do. This is the fun exploring part. And the physical side of it, I always say that caving is just like some extreme hiking underground in nature's natural air conditioning. Not all caves you have to use ropes and rappel down and out of, which I'm trying to get into. So hopefully in the future you'll see Petro hanging on some ropes going into some of these pits. But as of now, McGuire and Hollis are making their way in this cave. And I don't know how far they got. It took me a good 20 minutes to walk back to the car when I left the cave. And once I got to the truck waiting for them, I think they took another 45 minutes. So they didn't get too far in the cave. But because of this, you see all those lights right there? All those lights are other cavers. There was a parking lot that you park at, and there were some other cars there. And now Hollis and them have just came up on the other cavers. Now, the crazy thing is who are these other cavers? Who are all those lights? All those other cavers, unbeknownst to us, we had no idea, are all the homies, all the YouTube caving homies. You got Alex Cantrell from Cantrell Caving. You have Low Range Outdoors, which is Cade. And you have the other guy, what's his name? Underground Adventurers. And you also had Seth from Keystone Explorers. That's Seth's channel. So all the big YouTube caving guys that we know and watch on YouTube are here. Now all those guys were the guys that went to Matt Carricker from Demolition Ranch. They went to his resort and they all went and checked out Matt's caves there. So if you go to Demolition Ranch, one of his channels, he has all the caving videos there, which I love to watch. And it was really cool seeing all the caving guys, the YouTube worlds collided and all the caving guys went over to the gun guys and searched their caves. And it was a really cool series to watch. And I believe that Demolition Ranch's caves are still going. Now, this is now Hollis, and they decided to turn back around and go back now, and they're going back down these ropes, which, dang, that's pretty straight down, and the rope probably helps you to get down a little bit easier. It looks like you could probably just free climb it down, though, but that looks like so much fun, and I have to go back and do this, and I will be back really soon to do this with all the guys. And just because that looks too much fun. I mean, some people don't think that looks fun. I think that looks like a hell of a fun time climbing up and down that. And Hollis said it was awesome. Hollis said it was a fun climb. And you could kind of see Homeboy's light down there a little bit and how far down that actually is. And if you were to fall, that would be a bad day. But that's the whole thing. Don't fall at all. And as he's climbing down there, it just looks extreme hiking underground in the Earth's natural air conditioner. Doesn't look too bad. Now here's Hollis in front of a big formation and one of those columns that was there. Pretty cool. Probably shouldn't have touched it though. But that is an awesome column right there in formation. You can see the cave mouth as Hollis is making his way out the cave, Camp Sculf Cave. And here we are. I was ending, and there's Cade back there from Low Range Outdoors. And I was just telling everybody right here about how we walked 6 miles the wrong way before we found the cave. And then we actually found out that all of the homies were in the cave with us and we didn't even know it. We have Alex from Cantrell Caving right here. Then we have Low Range Outdoors, Cade. And then we have Underground Adventurers right here. And it was an awesome day. It was cool to sit there and chill with all the people after the extreme hiking that we did. And we were all covered in sweat. We all had to change our clothes. But that's what we do. And we're cavers, and we like to cave. I'm Petro, and I'm out. I had no audio on this video.